I've just finished my interview with the amazing Ashley Leeds, the 15-minute guy, and I want to tell you what we're talking about so you know whether you want to listen to this. So, top tips are turn up as yourself, tell everybody what you're doing, and be patient. Ashley went from having about 2,000 followers on LinkedIn 4 years ago. He's now got 12,000. He's the guy that went into a bookshop and put his own book on the shelf, took a photo and posted about it on LinkedIn. But learn how he went about doing it. It wasn't showy offy. Got some great insights. Is a great laugh. Is the man in the yellow t-shirt who works from his shed. Have a listen.
The sound.
Right, I'm recording everything, Ashley, now from now on, because we're gonna do lots of outtakes and different ways to edit it. So while Ashley's putting his soundboards up, I'm gonna introduce him. This is Ashley Leeds and his soundboards, and he's a 15-minute guy on LinkedIn. We've invited him onto Are You a Crap Coach? Which is a rhetorical question. You're all meant to say, no, I'm amazing. Because the theme of today's podcast is about being seen. And that the actual title of the podcast that I've written down here is No One Knows Who I Am. How do I tell people who I am? Now, the irony is, I was going to say, Ashley's just disappeared, but it's now popped up in his famous yellow t-shirt. Hello, Ashley. How are you?
I'm incredible. Thank you very much indeed for asking. This is the first podcast that I've ever done where I'm setting up as I'm talking. So, yeah, excuse me running around and doing all that beforehand. But what I've just done is I've put up some sound deadening stuff so that I should sound super sexy now.
All right, then. Is this the 0800 voice that you've got?
I've never heard it called that before, but if it works for you, it works for me.
The one you preserve for OnlyFans.
Absolutely. Hey, now that's another topic, isn't it?
Let's not go there. Let's just not go there. All right. So thanks for coming on, Ashley. I really appreciate it. You're one of my LinkedIn pals. We've helped each other out for probably over a couple of years now, I think. Is it?
It's amazing how the time goes, but yes, probably.
Yeah. We both look younger than when we started out, which is great. So loving that. And we both earn our livings online in various ways and in real life, IRL. My 60-year-old daughter's on half term at the moment, and she was hanging out in my office yesterday and she went, Mom, you've got quite a cool job.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Kudos to you.
I know. I said, what do you mean? She said, you just do everything online, don't you? And I went, yeah, I do. Anyway, so that's by the by. So, Ashley, the $6 million question for all those business coaches out there is, if nobody knows who you are, what can you do about it? All right. That's the $64 million question. So I want to take you back to a point in time when nobody knew who you were. And how did you start out? How did you get yourself out there so people began to know who you are?
Okay. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Coach, I'm full of them.
I've been on LinkedIn forever.
Right.
So some people knew me. And I think that's the thing. Some people knew me. The obvious thing is to get out to networking meetings.
Okay.
Hang out where your clients are hanging out. The $6 million question, right, is tell people about it. You know, how do people know who you are? Just tell them. And that's all you need to do. So that could be the yellow pages. In the olden days, it would have been carvings on the cave wall. But I think we're too embarrassed to let everybody know who we are and what we do. And if we don't do that, then who's going to know? You know, you've got you know if I walk down to town, it takes me 10 minutes to get to the beach from where I live. I am
Okay.
going to see a dozen vans driving past. And each one of those vans or lorries is going to have a great big loads of sign writing all over it. You know, plumber, butcher, baker, candlestick maker. They're telling everybody about what they do,
Yeah.
right? But if you're running an online business, you don't need a van. So how else are you going to do it? You advertise in places, you get on social media, you have a website. There's a million places to tell people about what you do. And when you stop and think about it, you're like, oh, hang on a minute. You know, I work with accountants and bookkeepers. And
Yeah.
I say, you know, your kids go to school. I bet the local school has a newsletter that for a few quid you could write an article every week. You know, all these little things that let people know who we are. I've written a book. That is a great way to get yourself known. So there's a million things to do to let people know. And if I was going to start out today from fresh, I'd be
Yeah.
straight on LinkedIn because I love LinkedIn and I know that it works.
Yeah.
But it's you've just got to get out there. You know, most people have got a Facebook account. Just start letting people telling people that you've got a business. I've just left
Yeah.
my job and I don't know, writing books or playing guitars, whatever it is, let people know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, now well done. Your book was in a shop, which was great because you had a photo of you with your book on a bookshelf in a shop. Now, was the shop stocking it, or did you just stick it on the shelf and take a picture, Ashley?
That shop, that shop was in Turin Airport. All right.
Right.
So my book is in English. Turin is
Right.
in Italy. What do
Yeah.
you think, Rebecca?
I think you stuck it on the shelf. I love it.
Well,
I
so the
love
thing,
it.
the
Love
thing
it.
is,
Love
right?
it.
The thing is, people are just going to see the photo.
Yeah.
They're not going to see the story or read the story behind it. And so, what does it matter? And
Yeah,
it
it
was
doesn't.
right next to a book called Pele. I don't know if you've heard of that amazing footballer.
I certainly
But
have.
the
Yeah.
thing was, right, I was with a group of entrepreneurs. I did this trip where we were a whole group of entrepreneurs, which is why I'm feeling incredible at the moment. And we were sat having. It was the only time I had pizza. I was in Italy for 4 days, and we never had any pizza on any of the menus. So I had some in the airport. We were there, sat at a table, just chatting and what have you. And I went, "Hey, could you come and take a photo?" And I explained what I'd done. And she was just wetting herself. Thought it was
Mm.
hilarious. So I went in, walked into the store, put my book on the shelf, quickly ran round, did that in front of in front of the book. Um, but this is in Turin Airport, so people are walking past to their different gates, and as they're walking past, they're going, "That guy's photos on, and he's wearing it. That must be the. Oh my God, it's a famous author. Oh my God!" And they're all walking past, and I'm like, "No, no, no! It's just a guy in a shed." And it was so funny. It was so funny. But that post has done really well
Yeah.
because when I talked about it, I didn't talk about me. I talked
No.
about you and have you written a book? When are you going to
Yeah.
start writing a book? And people have come on that post and gone, "You've inspired me to write a book, or you've
Yeah.
inspired me to finish my book." You know, several
I,
people thought, "My goodness, you're stocked in a shop in Turin." No, it's not. But it's. But
right.
I'm telling people about me.
I need to go back a few steps. First of all, you were in Italy, my favorite country in the whole wide world. I'm learning Italian, and you were with a bunch of entrepreneurs. Why didn't you invite me? Okay, so that's
Sorry,
the
sorry.
first bit of beef I've got.
Okay, okay,
Next time, if you're in Italy doing anything to do with entrepreneurs, invite me, and if I can
okay,
go, I'll go, because I am determined to go to Italy at least once a year to consolidate my learning.
okay.
Um, and the second thing is you picked up on a really good point there is you don't post about yourself. And this is what people need to get over. You're actually not talking about yourself. You're talking about the thing here. And you're right, you then reference the audience and they join in because they feel included. And I think this is what people, so you start off go, this is what I'm doing. And that's your positioning piece. And then it's like, and what I'm doing is with this person or with this person told me about this and that happened and this audience and that. So you're sharing your experiences and gathering people into the body of your Kirk and giving them a big warm hug. And I think the misconception about posting on LinkedIn or anywhere is that you're showy offy, and you're just not. There are some people who do that, but they don't tend to get any traction. You're just not. So way back, because I joined LinkedIn when it first started. Did it start in 2006 or
It's 20,
something?
it's 21 this year.
Is it? Yeah.
Mm.
So, right. My maths is crap.
2004.
4, yeah. 2004, 2 years back. So I joined the first year it was out, and you probably did too,
I didn't.
didn't you?
No, no, because
Oh,
look, I'm considerably older than I look, and we didn't have computers when I was at school, so I haven't grown up with them. And all of this tech stuff is a real steep learning curve for me. Doing AI, doing editing videos, all that sort of stuff. It's all a lot harder for me than it would be for someone in their 30s that
oh
would
yeah,
have grown up.
Ashley.
Hmm?
How old are you?
I'm not allowed to say on a live podcast.
Aren't you?
No, but the shocking thing is I'll be 60 next year.
Yay, congratulations. 60 is the new 40.
I was hoping it was the new 30.
The new 30. I
Yeah.
told the guy yesterday it was a new 30. So
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. That's great. Um, okay, well, fair enough. So you're a few years older than me. Not that many years older than me, but you're right. Have you created your digital twin yet?
No. No.
Right.
But yeah, one's enough, isn't it?
I looked at the software yesterday, Ashley, and I was like, ooh, I'm not quite ready for that yet. That's next week's job. But yeah, okay. So small audience. I up until 4 years ago, I had an audience of 1,500 on LinkedIn. Were you about the same, or were you slightly more than that?
So when I started my business 4 years ago, I
Yeah.
had about two and a half.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And how many do you have now?
12 and a half.
Right. All right then. So there's two things in that. One, it takes a while to build.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people out there promising you 3,000 followers in a nanosecond. What do you say to that, Ashley?
Um, you don't allow swearing on your podcast. And I
I
don't.
do. You can swear all you like.
It's BS. It is absolute BS.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right? So when I teach people how to do LinkedIn, and I don't turn around and say you've got to reach out to 100 people every week, because LinkedIn have a limit of 100 a week. All right. I don't know about you, but there's no way that you can know 5,500 people in a year.
No.
All right.
No.
That's just a vanity metric.
Yeah.
And so
That's a good point.
several years ago, I stopped reaching out, and I only wait for people to reach out to me to connect to me. All right. And
Oh,
here's why I think this works.
okay.
If I reach out to you and say connect with me, all right, you're going to feel obliged and you'll just connect,
Hmm.
okay, unless there's a real great meaning behind all of that. But most of the time you just go, yeah, I'll connect, it's fine, I'll connect. All right. So you don't really want to connect with me, so therefore you're not really engaged with who I am and what I do, and therefore when I create content, whoopee doo. All
Right.
right. Whereas if you want to connect with me and then you connect with me and I connect back with you, then you want to connect with me because you've seen my content. You like the cut of my jib, you like my yellow t-shirts, my antics in Turin airport, all of those sorts of things. And therefore when I create content, you're going to go, oh, it's another bit of, oh yeah, because I wanted to connect with him. Yeah. And
I
so
see what you
that's
mean.
my philosophy for connecting and building a community that care.
I like that. I like that phrase, build a community that cares.
Mm.
Yeah, I like that a lot. In your community, a lot of them are accountants and they care deeply about getting their message out there. Tired of being a lonely coach? Well, don't be alone any longer. Join us at tricrest.com, tricres.com. Find all the models, frameworks, PowerPoints, tools you're ever going to need as a coach, help on marketing, selling, and position yourself as a coach, plus a lot of other great kick-ass coaches are in that community. We'll see you there. TRICRES.com. Bye. So tell our lovely listener, because we've probably only got one now we've restarted the podcast, what LinkedIn has led to for you. What opportunities has it led to?
Well, let's go back a little step.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see. I've got a little scar on the just here
No, I didn't
on my
see that.
nose on my
You had a
nose.
nose job.
I think yeah. I think when the sun comes out, it'll go. But
Right.
there is a little scar,
Oh,
and so I'm doing some work on my YouTube channel, and I need a few more videos. And
okay.
so one Friday afternoon, my wife was out. I don't work Friday afternoons. I thought, right, I'm going to do some videos this afternoon. I had a gig that evening. I'm a musician, so I put all my kit in the car so it wasn't running around, and I had all afternoon to create these videos. My car was parked up the drive on a
Right.
slope rather than on the flat, and because it's got a tall tailgate and I'm not a tall guy, I'm big in the shed, but I'm not tall in real life. I couldn't quite reach the boot lid. So I stood closer to the back of the car, pulled the boot lid down, and because I'd stepped closer to the car, the boot lid caught me smack on the bridge of
Oh,
my nose.
oh, that's sore.
Yes, you can imagine. You can absolutely
Yeah,
imagine.
that's
And
sore.
so to cut a very long story short, I couldn't do any videos that afternoon because I looked like, I'd been in a boxing match or whatever. And
Yeah. Did you
luckily,
get black eye?
I didn't get
Right.
black
Okay.
eyes.
Right.
I was
Right.
absolutely terrified. And luckily, the gig, it was dark, so no one
Right.
saw my plaster on my
Right.
nose. So I didn't do any videos. And so the next day I thought, that's a great excuse for not doing videos because so many people, and video is the thing that we should be doing on social media.
Yeah.
But so many people won't do videos. They've got this excuse and that excuse. And so my post the next day was, I've got a great excuse why you shouldn't be doing videos. And people were coming on, oh my goodness, Ash, are you all right? Oh, I hope you don't need stitches. The care
Yeah.
was incredible. And I didn't do it for that.
No.
But and I had so many private messages as well. Oh my goodness, that looks,
Oh,
yeah, isn't that lovely? And
that is lovely.
that's because I've built a community that care. Yeah.
That is really nice.
And
And most people do.
it's taken a long time,
Yeah.
and I haven't got 3,000 in a nanosecond. But what I've got people that care. I've got quality connections, not a quantity of connections.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So, are coaches out there going, that's lovely, Ashley. I like the story about your nose, but how does that lead to cash?
Yeah. So you said what's actually happened?
Yeah.
Okay. So I get people knocking on my door saying, "Hey, can you help me with my LinkedIn?"
Mm.
All right. I get people knocking on my door. Can you be on my podcast? I also had someone knocking on my door saying, "We're doing this exhibition. We'd love you to be part of it. How do you fancy coming to Canada? We'll pay all your expenses." Yeah, okay, I'll do that. And
Yeah, I'll check and see if I'm busy.
yeah, absolutely. So it was on the 5th of November, so I missed the bonfire night party.
Okay.
But that's the beauty of it. And
Yeah.
because I've literally just come off a call with somebody that just needs LinkedIn help and sees me as an expert because all I ever do is talk about LinkedIn and share stuff. And so if you're a coach, just share stuff. And LinkedIn is not a corporate platform that you've got to be corporate. You've
No.
just got to
No.
go on and be you. And I think that's why I'm so successful. Is because I'm always 100% me.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I don't have to think about anything. I chuck on a yellow t-shirt, I smile, and that's what you get. And that's what people love. And there's other people out there that go, oh God, not that jumpy yellow guy again. Great, because you can't please all the people all the time.
No.
And
No.
what we're doing is marketing. We're attracting clients, and we're using a great big magnet. All right, but that magnet also repels, and so that is absolutely fine too. Okay, I've worked with some people that are Marmite.
Yeah, very Marmite.
And if you're listening to this in another country, you know what Marmite is. Marmite is a yeast extract, tastes like beefy sort of stuff. It's quite salty. You put it on your toast. You either love it or you hate it. And the marketing behind that, you either love Marmite or you don't love Marmite.
It's great with peanut butter.
Yes, they actually make one, don't they?
I know they do. It's amazing.
So I've worked with people that like Marmite. All right. And I'm like, I hate you. You're such a, add the words of choice.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like, and then when I finished, and I go, it's brilliant
Yeah.
because you're just carving out that niche for you. Oh, I don't like working with so and so. They're very da 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 da. Yeah, but they attract people that like the da 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 da. All
Yeah.
right. I attract people that don't take life seriously, like a little bit of a laugh, want a bit of fun in their lives. Yeah. We are not all for all people, and we've got to get over that as well.
Yeah, we do.
Got
So
to
I
get
had a
over that as
guy,
well.
we put our opportunity on LinkedIn job ads. I had a guy this week who goes, I am a business coach, but I don't want to be a kick-ass business coach because that's not how I present myself to my clients. And I went, great, best of luck,
Yeah.
because he's not right for us. He's absolutely not right for us. And as Dan Kelsall says, he probably irons his socks. We don't tend to have people who come on board who iron their socks, but mainly because life's just too short. Okay. And none of them are that far up their own backsides. And that's okay. I don't want people who are up their own backsides because actually I don't think they make very good business coaches because their egos are just too massive. Did you see that post ages ago with the car thing that I did that went ballistic?
Maybe.
Right, right, okay.
Remind me.
It was before Christmas. I was musing, all right, and this is for people out there who are going around wondering what to post. I was musing about all the best clients I've ever worked with, my favorite people, because we shouldn't have favorite clients, but we do, don't we, Ashley?
We know who your favorite is.
Yeah, yeah. You know who our favorite clients are. And I put all my best clients seem to drive Land Rovers, Range Rovers, all those utility trucks that construction people drive. My worst kind of only had two crap clients in all the years I've been doing this that were just a bit, yeah. One drove a really flash BMW and the other one drove a Porsche, right? So I wrote that and I just put this crap stock image of a Range Rover as the picture. The LinkedIn went mental.
Awesome.
It
Awesome.
went mental. Every BMW and Porsche driver got really upset and just proved again why I don't work with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why on the application form you got what type of car do you drive?
Yeah,
Now
that's
I
right.
know. Now I know. And I was aspiring to a Porsche as well, so now I know why I didn't get in.
Listen, I love Porsches. I love Porsches. They're fantastic cars. My joints wouldn't be able to manage getting in and out of them. I'd be like, oof, oof. I just and things would crack and bend that shouldn't. But yeah, that wasn't the point of the post. It was just amusing. What I learned the other week, and I don't know how you feel about this, is that people aren't actually interested in the comments that people make or getting upset. They're interested in how you respond.
Yeah.
So what's your response to that? Because people are afraid. They go, "Oh, I'm going to get my head shot off. Somebody's going to hate me." Blah blah. What's your response to that?
Okay, it's an emoji with
Okay.
with the smiling and the crying eyes. Okay, I use that a lot. Okay, as you
Right.
know, I'm quite cheeky, and
Yeah.
and I can say something to you that would upset anybody if they saw it written down, but I could say
Yeah.
it to you with a smile and a glint in my eye, and you'd know that I was joking, teasing,
Yeah.
having a bit of fun.
Yeah.
You can't do that when you write down,
No.
but you can if you put that emoji in.
Yeah. Yeah. It
And
helps, doesn't it?
absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is, right? If you think of LinkedIn as a giant networking event, okay, so we're at a networking event, we bump into each other, we're talking about the parking, the weather, our holiday, half term, and our kids thinking we've got cool jobs, all kinds of stuff that we talk about in networking events, not coaching or LinkedIn.
No.
We just talk about life. That is how you should behave on LinkedIn. So someone creates a post. That's probably the speaker doing a talk. All right. So let's take your Land Rover post. I'm going to dive in on there because I've got something to say about Porsche drivers or BMW drivers or whatever. Bum, 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 bum. I've added my opinion. I've put a little smiley face because I'm just having a laugh. But that I don't ever think, oh, I can't write that, because that's what I would say to you if you were face to face with me. All right.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing. And so
Yeah.
many people go, oh, I can't write this on LinkedIn because, oh, then you're not being you. You're not being authentic. And you have to be. I saw a post this morning talking about some guy got a text from his mate, and his mate was in a restaurant in Manchester. And on the next table, they were talking about this guy that wrote the post.
No way.
Way, yeah. And so he was saying that what people say about you when you're not in the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can imagine what people say about me when I'm not in the
Yeah.
room, because
Yeah.
and my response to that post was just be authentically you, and you can't go
Yeah.
wrong. You
No, you
cannot go
can't.
wrong. You speak to some people and they show up at this event doing this, they show up at that event doing that, and they're sort of like all these different chameleons, and they're like, which chameleon am I going to be today? And then people say, well, I can't do that. I said, well, do you wear a mask when you go to a networking meeting? Right?
Yeah.
Do you send your friend instead because you don't like the people? You know, just be yourself. Look, this is it. This is what you get. You either invite me on your podcast or you don't, and that's it. And I think people forget that, and they say,
Yeah,
oh
they
no, I
do.
need to. Oh, blah, blah.
So how tall are you, Ashley?
5'8".
Ah,
So I'm not a midget. I'm not a
no,
midget.
no, no. And are you having a party for your 60th?
That's a year and a half away. So we're not sure. We might take the kids on a safari.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exciting. That's really exciting. Right, here's your chance to do your pitch. What do you do for people out there? And if we've got business coaches listening or anybody listening, what can you help and support them with?
Okay. What I don't do is LinkedIn training.
Ah,
What I do is I give people the courage to stand out on LinkedIn, do great things, win business, grow their brand, all in just 15 minutes a day.
yes, you have perfected that, my man.
You've got to, because and then you turn around to someone and you go, what do you do? I'm a coach.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I've literally just had this conversation with somebody. And I turned around and I said, if I say the word solicitor, what do
Yeah.
you think? All right. And we're all now thinking in our heads what we think of solicitors.
Yes.
All right. So if you say you're a solicitor, straight away, I've got that preconceived idea in my head about what you are. Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you could get 3,000 followers in a nanosecond from some scummy LinkedIn trainer. So as soon as you say you're a LinkedIn trainer, that's what people
Yeah.
think you do.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. As soon as you're a coach, people think something else. As soon as you do
Yeah, they
this, they
do.
think you're something else. You turn around and say, I'm a this. And I'm like, nice. Because I don't
Next.
even know what that is. And so one of the things I say to people, and it happened on Monday, I did a talk to a group of people. It was on Zoom, so I had like 20 faces staring at me, and I go, hands up who's got a 10-year-old kid. And this couple, there was two people on a Zoom together, and they both put their hand out. I said, was it the same kid? And yes, it was.
Right.
And I said, boy or a girl? And they go, little boy. And I go, right, okay. Could your son look at your LinkedIn banner and tell you exactly what you do? And they looked at each other and they smiled and they went, no. Right. And that's the thing, right? We don't get 10-year-olds on LinkedIn, but we all behave like 10-year-olds when we're looking at someone's profile and we don't understand it. And then we scroll off and we go somewhere else.
Right.
Okay. And the beauty that what they did is they then got their son, and so they had my profile on a mobile phone, and they must have been holding another mobile phone there. And they said, right, son, tell us what this guy does. And they put the phone in front of him and he told them exactly what I do.
Brilliant.
And it just proves it
Brilliant.
works. And
Brilliant.
the problem is if we don't tell people what we do, they will make their own assumptions. So
Yeah.
you pulled a face when I said solicitor.
Yeah.
Everybody else listening is thought of something totally different for solicitor. All right. And so as soon as you say you're a solicitor, they're going to go, yeah, I know exactly what you do. And you've now got to undo
Yeah, you do.
that thinking because
Yeah.
you know last year they had this terrible run-in with a solicitor, all right,
Yeah.
or they had an amazing experience with a solicitor, and then but if you turn around and say, look, what I do is I help people make sure that they keep everything when they die, all right. I use
Oh,
I
that's a
use
nice way
I
of putting
use
it.
I use will writing to make sure their family is cared for when they disappear. All those sorts of things, because that's what a solicitor does. If you're a will writing solicitor,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Having recruited lawyers, there are lots of different sorts, but
Oh God,
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
minefield.
It is a minefield. It
Yeah,
is a
but isn't
minefield.
isn't coaching a minefield?
Oh my God. Yeah. So there's mindset coaches, there's leadership coaches, the financial coaches, sales coaches, marketing coaches, HR coaches, there's team coaches, there's every kind of coach. My favorite is the unconscious leadership. No, the conscious leadership coach, but I have renamed it in my head the unconscious leadership coach because I'm like, what the F is conscious leadership? If you're not doing that, does that mean you're unconscious? And if
Absolutely.
you're unconscious, should you actually be at work?
No, no, you shouldn't. You should be
You
lied
should
lied
be
up in bed on a machine.
You should. You should be hooked up to something. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Ashley, as ever, this has been amazing. You are a superstar. Thank you so much for being brave and coming into my new Am I a Crap Coach? And what I want our coaches out there to go is like, right, where are the gaps that I need to fill? And having listened to you, I want you, listener, viewer, to pick out the bits from what Ashley has said. And if you're not doing that in your practice, your sales and marketing, then start putting it in, start putting some of those elements in. And I want you to really adopt as many of the techniques that we're going to teach you over this season one. Season one is all about selling, by the way, because I'm doing it in season. But actually getting my podcast organized, Ashley.
Wow, I love
I
this.
know,
I
I
love
know.
this.
Season one is about selling, and take notes. We're going to put it out there on YouTube in March and on our band now. We have created a band. You'll like this, Ashley. There's a little app called Band that I don't think many people in the UK know about. It's not that kind of band.
I don't need my guitar then.
You could bring it. And it's a private group. It's in it. The app is in America and loads of sports teams use it. But it's free. It's what Facebook groups used to be, but and now you can't do a Facebook group because you just get spammed with all kinds of nonsense. So we've created a band for business coaches only, and one of the things, and it's free, and we'll do a session around what you've talked about for free. We'll put the podcast out there as well. And I'd love to invite you to our band.
Thank you very much.
It's invite only
And
because
only inviting cool people.
exactly the cool kids and anybody who can help people move from being a crap coach to a kick-ass coach is really welcome. And that includes the coaches themselves who are learning, developing, and it's available to people who haven't bought our product and stuff like that. So if I can send you an invite, we'd love to have you. There's only 13 of us so far. I only started it on Monday.
Okay.
So it's very new and shiny.
Fantastic. I can't wait.
Brilliant. Amazing. Anything you want to end on, Ashley?
Yeah, just be you.
Great.
If you're listening to this, just be you and don't worry about anybody else. And yeah, it's amazing what can happen because people do love you.
Yeah, they do. Thank you. What are you waiting for? Why carry on being a crap coach when you could be a kick-ass coach? Join us at tricres.com and find out more.